Hello, today we're going to talk about our pinch pot bowls with scrafito. We're going to make your pinch pot. Remember to be a little picky with your clay. You need clay that is fairly plastic and flexible, so if you go to grab clay from the bag and it's a little hard and it's too hard to really add some water to wedge it, then put that to the side in the same bag and grab some other clay. I've already made my pinch pot and I've actually let this dry a little bit. So this is on the drier side. It's a damp leather hard, so it's still a little flexible, but I couldn't really shape it much more. So it's as thin as I want to get. Remember, your pinch pot piece should be pretty even and thin. So now I need to think about, do I want to smooth the surface or do I want to leave it textured? You are going to be drawing on top using a technique called scrafito. Scrafito is to scratch through. So this is an example of 1/2 clay with black underglaze on it, and then it's for text we've scratched through. So you can see there's a lot of contrast here. So of course this is a flat piece of clay. If you have something like this, well, you will, then the finger marks that you have, some people might want to keep those and other people might want to get rid of them. If you keep them, just know that they will sort of add some bumps as you're carving along. If you want to smooth them, you need to let your clay get a little drier. So either you can set it out in the sun for 10 or 20 minutes, or if you need to go and speed it up pretty quickly, then use the hair dryers. Next, I want to smooth it. So one way to do that is with a paddle. So I could paddle along. It's really about lots of small little taps instead of one big one. My clay, I don't want to flex it a lot because I will start getting bigger cracks, which I can repair, but I'd rather not if I don't have to. So I want to make sure that I'm gently holding my clay pinch pot. I don't want to hold it by the edge here because that's going to create stress and crack it on the edge. I want to support it by holding right on the inside kind of base or cupping it in my hand. So the paddle is one way, using the back of this spoon. Another way that seems counterintuitive but works really well is to use the scoring tool. So what I'm actually going to do is score. I'm going to scratch all over on this piece. I might put it down on the table. I like to put it down upside down so that I keep the rounded shape. Remember, if you store it this way, the pressure you put on it is going to slowly flatten it. So I'm actually going to scratch all around pretty aggressively because what I'm doing is actually shaving down those high points. You can see I'm doing that. I'm getting rid of some of that clay. I would do that all around, and then I would usually just use the same tool, this flat edge, and start to scrape and even out those scrafito, those scratch lines. And you can see it's starting to smooth out and reduce that irregularity. And then I might go in with my blue kidney tool, the rounded edge, and start smoothing it more. And then eventually coming in with perhaps just my fingers to smooth it. And you can see I'm going to get a really nice smooth surface here. Just a note, a damp sponge, right, is nice, but don't use it over much. I see that's a common beginning mistake, is people start using their sponge and it looks beautiful, but then what happens is you're actually removing the really fine clay particles, which then just leaves you with these sandier components, which you can smooth down with your finger, but they're always going to be a little more visible. So if you can get to this point without using your sponge, that's really great. And plus, if you oversaturate your clay, it gets too wet, then you're going to have clay that starts to kind of fall apart. Once you're done smoothing, right, then you need to think about, do you want to add anything else or alter it? Because all of those things need to happen before you add your underglaze, your color.